This is a follower submission, and it is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Purposely Letting My Husband Forget Our Anniversary? Like, oh no, Scoob. I don't like where this is going. I, 36 female, have been married to my husband, 38 male, for 8 years. Our 8th anniversary just passed. My husband has never been great at remembering our anniversary date or even how long we've been married. Once, around our 5th anniversary, he told someone it was our 2nd. It doesn't really bother me, as I understand that he is busy. I have never held it against him. In the past, I have mentioned that it is coming up or asked if he wanted a specific gift, something to give him a little heads up. But this year leading up to our anniversary, I wanted to see if he would remember without my help. I got him a nice new golf driver that he's been eyeing and kept it at my office so he would not see it, and then kept my mouth shut until the day came. The night before our anniversary, I brought his gift home with me and left it in my car until morning. In the morning, I waited. I waited to see if he'd say anything. He did not. So right before we both left for work, I brought his gift in and told him happy anniversary. At first he looked confused, and then he looked embarrassed. But then he got angry. He said he was sorry that he forgot and he didn't get me anything, but that it was my own fault for not reminding him. Oh, bro, that's when you went wrong right there. He said that I should know that he doesn't remember dates well and that it was mean of me to make him feel bad by purposefully letting him forget and get me nothing, and while I had gotten him such a good gift. He said he knew that I would use this now and hold it over his head forever, which is silly because I never have and never do. I never intended to make him feel bad. I just wanted to test him to see if he would remember. And I really wasn't mad at all that he forgot because I completely expected him to forget. Is it really my job to remind him? And am I the astronaut for purposely not reminding him? So the question here is, am I the astronaut for purposely letting my husband forget our anniversary? So she tested him to see if he would remember it, but she expected him to not remember it. Let's look at this here for a second. She was testing him, and yes, my first reaction to this was yeah, I mean, you tested him. When you test someone, it's a come what may scenario. When you test someone, come what may, you expected him to fail. This is the kicker, though. She wasn't going to hold it against him. She wasn't mad at him forgetting. She expected him to forget. In his position here, even though he forgot, the gut reaction of just blaming her for it was where he chose to be the bigger asshole in the scenario. She was a little bit of an asshole for testing him. It's not cool to test your spouse, because again, come what may. But he chose to be the asshole by being like, oh, it's your fault. It's your fault for not telling me and for making me look bad. Now that sucks. He chose right there instead of saying, I'll have your gift later today, and then scrambled and did whatever he needed to do to secure one and to make it happen. He didn't have to project it back onto her. He didn't have to deflect. It was his fault. If he had just owned it and been like, man, I'm sorry. You know I suck at this. I dropped the ball. I am going to get you something today. And tonight we'll go out to dinner and I'll make this right. This is technically an everyone sucks here, but there are some varying levels. Let's go ahead and get our everyone sucks here out of the way. That cake transition, by the way. That doesn't sound very enthusiastic, Tony Spark. But what Candy Thunder said in relation to this story is, I had added our wedding date as a recurring event to my calendar before we even got married. And that's because I know that without help from a calendar, I am not going to remember things. Like I'm scrambling day to day. But that's why I put a system in place so I could remember it. I am calendar driven. And now if there's a date that I know I need to remember, I'm going to put it in the calendar as a recurring event. And I'm going to customly set a reminder for whatever amount of lead time that I need. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so it isn't everyone sucks here, but at what levels do they suck? She chose to be a little bit of the asshole by testing him, but I think even that puts her at like a 4. When you test your spouse, it's a come what may scenario. I don't think it's cool to test your spouse, especially when it goes the way you think it's going to go and it creates conflict. Like if you knew it was going to create conflict, then why would you do it? Where's he at here? He's obviously the bigger asshole because he chose to be the bigger asshole and chose to not take on responsibility for this, chose to not own it. And instead of doing what he should have done and just owned it, but then been like, I will make this right. Give me today. Tonight, we'll have a fancy dinner and I will make this right. He chose to blame her for it. So while it might not be an evil human being thing, it's definitely 2. Is it worse than 2? We're going to go ahead and officially make him a 2 here. He chose to be a two-stage bigger asshole here by responding the way he responded, by not taking responsibility for it. It was also this. It was a brozone move by doing that. Why? Why would you do that? You're a grown-ass man. If you know you can't remember things, put a solution in place so that you can remember. Do not put that pressure on someone else. You're a grown-ass man. Figure it out. Use a calendar. Use a recurring event. Use reminders. Those things do exist. You have to do them. Putting that on someone else is garbage.